All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the Education Abroad Fair. This is actually the final live session of the 2021 Virtual Education Abroad Fair. If this also happens to be your first session, welcome. We're excited that you're here. At the end of this session, I'll talk about how you can go back and watch all the sessions from this week on demand. If you've attended or watched some other fair sessions already, I hope you found them engaging and informative, and I hope you've all enjoyed the fair this year as much as I have. This afternoon, we're going to talk about education abroad programs available in the United Kingdom and Ireland specifically. I'll do some introductions here shortly, but I want to start with the CSU land acknowledgement. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is part of the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. If you would like to turn this land acknowledgement into action, I would encourage you to reach out to the CSU Native American Cultural Center to learn more about how you can engage, support, and advocate for Native tribes whose land we occupy. My name is Christopher Snodgrass. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am an education abroad coordinator, and I advise for the UK and Ireland and international internships. Joining me today is my colleague, George Agris, who will serve as the moderator for this session. Thanks for being here, George. Our webinar does not have a chat function, but there is a Q&A box where you can post questions and interact with George. We'll end the session with a few minutes for questions, but feel free to post questions and interact as we go through the presentation as well. Before we jump into talking about the UK and Ireland specifically, I wanted to dispel some myths about going abroad. First things first, an education abroad experience really shouldn't delay your graduation. In fact, with good planning, it will enhance your degree, help you graduate on time, and in some cases, maybe even help you graduate early. Secondly, there's this myth that education abroad is more expensive than courses here at CSU or living in Fort Collins. Certainly, there are some expensive programs. Sometimes that's the case, but many programs are similarly priced to the cost of attendance at CSU and to living in Fort Collins, and we work really hard to keep it that way. Some programs are even less expensive than studying at CSU and living in Fort Collins. Thirdly, if you start early and talk to your academic advisor, which I'll mention several times to keep them included throughout this process, if you talk with them about going abroad, you'll be able to fulfill course requirements during your program. This could be in the form of courses that are required for your major or even some elective courses. We always recommend getting started early. We always recommend involving your academic advisor or your ASC in the process. Between working with them and working with us, we can find you a program where you can take coursework that will actually move you toward graduation. Lastly, our risk management team, which I'm a part of, and I can assure you has certainly been busy since the pandemic started. We have an international risk manager who constantly monitors and communicates some of the challenges and risks that students may face while abroad. By working together, we can really foster responsible and successful experiences, and we do everything that we can to prepare you for going abroad, even during a pandemic. All right, let's talk a little bit about the UK and Ireland specifically. Here is a breakdown of the number of students in each academic department across campus who have gone abroad to the UK or Ireland over the last few years. As you can see, students really from every area of CSU go to the UK and Ireland. While some departments see a larger number of students go abroad to this region, you can see like the English department is super high for obvious reasons. You can also see that students from all over campus find programs that work for them in the UK and Ireland, and it's one of the things that I love the most about this region. So why would you want to study in the UK or Ireland? One, the prevalence of English, largely English-speaking cultures, courses taught in English, et cetera, certainly cuts down on the potential communication barriers for students going abroad. GI benefits are really, really easy to use in this particular region. We have a lot of programs that are called exchange programs, which I'll get into a little bit later, and GI benefits are super easy to use on exchange programs. The ease of personal travel, getting around once you're in the UK or once you're in Ireland is really, really easy, really robust public transportation. Access to the rest of Europe, particularly in England from London, you can get to France or literally anywhere on the European continent pretty easily. Multicultural destinations, whether it's Liverpool or Manchester or London, or Dublin in Ireland, there are some really wonderful cosmopolitan international cultures in some of the larger cities in this region. And then academic fit, as I mentioned earlier, it's really easy to find a program that fits almost any major across campus in this region. And it's one of the things I really love about it. So let's talk about some of the programs that we have to highlight in the UK and Ireland. First, I want to talk about the University of Exeter. It's a member of the Russell Group, which is basically the UK version of the Ivy League. So I like to talk about it like it's similar to coming to the US and getting to study at Yale for a semester, which is super cool. There's a couple different campuses at Exeter, the Streatham campus, which is kind of the main campus located in the town of Exeter, which has about 130,000 people. So really similar to the size of Fort Collins, a little smaller, but pretty similar. As you can see from the picture, absolutely gorgeous place. The Penryn campus is located a little bit further to the southwest, on the Cornwall Peninsula. There's a focus on engineering and environmental sciences at this campus, and they have some really, really cool fieldwork opportunities that are super unique to our going abroad opportunities, where you're really getting out in the field and working in whatever area you're studying, and they're awesome, awesome opportunities. Another really unique thing about the University of Exeter is they have an international summer school. So they have summer courses available, which is somewhat unique for an exchange program. And their summer courses open to students from all over the world. So it truly is an international summer school. Some of the recommended majors for Exeter, I'll be honest with you, a large number of recommended majors can study at Exeter, some of them being biosciences, health sciences, natural sciences, engineering, business, and humanities. Next, I want to talk a little bit about Keele University, located in a city called Stoke-on-Trent, or near Stoke-on-Trent, I should say, just outside of the city. Stoke-on-Trent itself has about 250,000 people, so a little larger than Fort Collins. At Keele University, there's about 9,000 people, so it's a relatively small, pretty intimate campus. It's about an hour south of Manchester and Liverpool, so in the central part of England. There is London to the southeast, and then in the center part of the country, there's this kind of band of urban areas from Liverpool to Manchester to Leeds. And just south of that is the city of Stoke-on-Trent, where Keele University is located. So very centrally located in England, makes it super easy to get around to the rest of England, to go up to Scotland, et cetera. To get down to London is really, really easy as well. There's a high level of student services at Keele University. One of the things that's really important to know about wherever you end up going abroad is how the student experience is maybe different than it is in the United States, and what you can expect studying on campus in another part of the world. And that's certainly true for the UK and for Ireland as well. The student experience, student support services, et cetera, doesn't look quite the same. They don't technically have, or they don't typically have the same level of robust student services that we have here. Keele University is a little bit different. They've really kind of fashioned their student support services around an American university. And so you could expect to see the same level of support, the same support offices that you may see on a campus here, which is really cool. Also, similar to CSU, very kind of close to the ethos of our university, there's a focus on sustainability at Keele, which makes it really popular with CSU students. You can see a long list of recommended majors from ag, business, biomedical sciences, et cetera. Lots and lots of majors can study at Keele. Next, I want to talk about the University of Leicester, located in the city of Leicester. With a population of 350,000, this makes it the largest of our exchange cities in this particular region. And Leicester is really great because it's one of England's most ethnically diverse cities. There's about 17,000 students on campus at the University of Leicester, so a little bit larger than the universities we've looked at so far. And it's a really highly regarded research institution. Similar to Keele, it is very centrally located. So you're still talking kind of just south of that urban belt of Liverpool, Manchester, and Leeds. With Leicester, you're a little further south of there, so a little closer to London, a little further from Manchester and Liverpool, but really, really easy to go in either direction and enjoy all that those cities have to offer. Again, really long, really robust list of majors to choose from that are good fits to study at the University of Leicester. Next, I want to talk about the University of Reading, located in the city of Reading, which is a suburb of London. 230,000 people in Reading itself. It's about a 30-minute train ride to get into downtown London, like really the central part of London. What I love so much about Reading is it has its own distinct identity and its own distinct culture. It's its own place, and yet it's close enough to London that you can really have access and take the opportunities available to you in London as well. It's about 17,000 students on campus at Reading, so it's a little smaller than campus at CSU. Another really highly regarded research institution, which is true for most of our exchange programs in this region. It is #1 in the UK for agriculture. So if you are a part of the College of Agriculture, I can almost guarantee you that Reading should be really high on the list of places that you consider going. And another really cool thing about Reading, being just outside of London, really large international student population and a really kind of international culture to the city as well. Again, lots of majors recommended to study at Reading, agriculture, pretty much anything in the College of Ag, and a long list of other majors as well. Next, I want to talk about Swansea University, which is our only exchange program in Wales, which is part of the UK, but not in England. The population in Swansea is about 240,000. And it is, like I said, the only exchange program outside of England in the UK. There are about 20,000 students on campus at Swansea University, so it's a little bit larger campus than the ones we've talked about. We actually have some exchange students from Swansea on campus in Fort Collins right now, which is really cool. The campus is located, as you can see in the picture, adjacent to the beach and to Swansea Bay, which is absolutely gorgeous. Even being in Wales, outside of England, technically, you're still only about a 2-hour train ride from London. And so it's one of the great things about the UK is the entire country is about the size of Colorado. And so getting around the country to different parts, up to Scotland, down to London, wherever you're located is really, really easy. And it's pretty nice to be able to travel around the entire country. Again, long list of majors that are recommended to study at Swansea. So whatever you're studying, it's likely that Swansea would have some classes for you. All right, next I want to talk about the University of Limerick. We're going to switch over and talk about Ireland. Located in Limerick, Ireland, which is on or near the west coast of Ireland. Population's about 60,000, so it's a relatively small city. One of the things I absolutely love about Limerick is it's small enough that it has really an authentic, like a true Irish culture, right? Like living in Limerick, studying in Limerick gives you an idea of like what real Irish culture is like. I love cities like London, Manchester, Liverpool, Dublin, that have an international flavor to them, that have citizens from all over the world. I think that's amazing. And I also think it's really incredible to be in these smaller places where you get a true taste of what everyday life is like in Irish culture. And that's certainly true for Limerick. The campus itself has about 11,000 students. This is our only exchange program in the country of Ireland. It's a hybrid exchange model. So it's what we call an exchange in the fall and a direct enroll in the spring. Doesn't really change your experience as a student too much. There are some outstanding art collections at the University of Limerick. It's home to the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance, which is super cool. And again, just like our exchange programs in the UK, a long list of majors that are recommended to study at the University of Limerick. All right, so now that we've talked about some of the great programs in the UK and Ireland, some of the places you can go, some of the campuses where you can study, let's talk about the actual process of going abroad, how to make it happen. As a CSU student, you'll have a lot of support around you from across campus as you explore going abroad. Throughout the process, you'll work with our office, with your academic advisor, your ASC, and then also with your program leader, program advisor, or partner organization, kind of depending on the type of program that you end up deciding on. Together, this team will provide you with all the support that you need to navigate the process from start to finish. Within our office, we have a wonderful team of coordinators who specialize in different regions of the world and also in different staff and faculty-led programs, which is one of the types of programs that we offer. Which coordinator you work with will basically be based on the program that you choose as best for you. If you continue to be interested in studying in the UK and Ireland, there's a good chance that you'll work with me. You're always welcome to meet with different coordinators in our office as you explore various programs around the world and really kind of work through your decision-making process and what program fits your needs the best. If you have no idea where you want to go, that's totally fine. Don't worry. Our office also provides general advising to help you explore all the possibilities and ask all the right questions to help you focus in on a program that really fits your needs. In addition to our team of coordinators, our office also has 3 peer advisors who are really critical members of our team. Our peers have all gone abroad with CSU. They're a tremendous resource to you as a CSU student. Our peers have open advising hours throughout the week, during which you can meet with them to learn more about the student experience and hear a student perspective of being abroad, to learn more about our peer advisors, where they went abroad, to hear all about their experiences, or to check out their open advising schedule. You can visit the Contact Education Abroad page on the EA website. I definitely want to touch on financial aid and scholarships before we wrap up this afternoon. Students are often really surprised to learn that the majority of your scholarships, grants, loans, the financial aid that you already receive can go abroad with you. To learn more, you can head to our YouTube channel, check out the financial aid and scholarships presentations that have been taking place throughout the fair. You can learn about our colleagues, Cindy and Evelyn, pictured here, who work in the Office of Financial Aid with students going on education abroad programs specifically. The presentation you can watch on YouTube is focused on scholarships and financial aid, as well as other ways to fund your education abroad experience. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. Scholarships will rarely fund your entire experience. You're probably not going to get enough scholarships to cover the entire cost, but they can definitely close the gap between your current financial aid and what you'll need to go abroad. We'll also have scholarship and fundraising workshops throughout the year so you can find and obtain more sources of funding. You can make an appointment with the Financial Aid for Education Abroad advisors through the Financial Aid and Scholarships page under the student section of the Education Abroad website. So go to the Education Abroad website, under the student section, go to Financial Aid and Scholarships and find their contact information there. At an appointment, you can look up your financial aid, your current grants, loans, scholarships, and really go line by line with our advisors, and they can give you an idea of what of that money you can take abroad with you. It's always a good idea to talk to financial aid, involve them in the decision-making process so they can help you determine if programs that you're interested in are a good fit for your budget. The first rule with scholarships is always to know the deadlines. And I would really encourage you to pay particular attention to this slide as our scholarship deadlines for the scholarships administered through our office are changing slightly in the coming year. So that's an overview of the UK and Ireland and going abroad with CSU. If you're interested in going abroad, here are some next steps you can take to get started. If you're ready to schedule an appointment with a CSU coordinator, just go to the Contact Education Abroad page on our website, and you can find that information there. So next steps, I would definitely plan out the classes that you need to graduate, work with your academic advisor, your ASC, talk about your degree requirements, what degree or what classes would you need to take while you're abroad. You can visit the Start Here page on our website, which is a really great step-by-step toolbox to lead you through the whole process of finding a program, applying to a program, finding scholarships, etc. Research programs online using our program search tool, or something we call recommended programs, which is a great opportunity for you as a student. Make an appointment with one of our coordinators. And then, like I said, make an appointment with financial aid for education abroad as well. And then lastly, apply for programs, apply for scholarships, and then go abroad and have a blast. All right. So in addition to this presentation, I want to encourage you to check out all the great content presented this week during the fair. Particularly, I would really recommend checking out our Education Abroad 101 presentation and our financial aid and scholarship presentation I mentioned earlier. To find these videos and every single one of the 45 sessions from this week, you can head over to our Colorado State University International Programs YouTube channel, where you can find all the recordings of our sessions and more. Just go to YouTube, search for CSU International Programs. We set up a playlist just for the 2021 Education Abroad Fair to make it super easy to access all this week's amazing content. All right, we have some time now for questions. So if there's anything at all you've been wondering about the UK or about Ireland or just about going abroad in general, now is a great time to ask. All right. Well, I don't see any questions coming in. So if you have questions once the session's ended, which is really common, you can email me directly, christopher.snodgrass@colorado.edu. You can make an advising appointment, come in and talk with me, and we can get your questions answered that way. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Really enjoyed the last 20 minutes with you. I hope you've enjoyed the fair this week. Go to YouTube and check out all of our recordings. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.